Hi guys, and welcome to another video. We are back in Germany. I think we just go with the flow and see what's on the way. There's one palace that I wanted to check out, so we have exactly 24 hours from now. Let's just go and see what's open around that we can go and see. So let's go. So guys, I just got out of the bus. It was about 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes from the main, I think it's a train station. I know it's all like I think, but I truly didn't plan anything. I just wanted to do something, and that was the easiest thing that looks open. But even the train station itself looked really cute. There was like a little park next to it with ducks swimming. It just looked like one of those chill places when you just sit with your friends or during lunch break. Okay guys, I'm gonna share my quick research with you, because I told you we're going to the palace, but I didn't really explain what kind of palace or what's even the name of it. So we are right now at the Biebrich Palace, and based on my quick research, I can tell you that it is one of the most important Baroque palaces along the Rhine River. So it was originally conceived as a small garden house in 1701 and was gradually expanded into a small royal residence and finally served as the main residence of the princes and dukes until 1841. I don't know if we can go inside, and to be honest, I don't even know if I want to go inside. The weather is really nice today, and it's a nice change because in the UAE it's already like boiling hot. I'm definitely in the minority of people wearing long sleeve at the moment. But yeah, we'll just walk around it. I know there's some kind of like a smaller palace around, ruins or something like that. I just saw it on Google, so we're gonna try to find it as well, and then we'll sit down and talk a little bit. So guys, regarding the video that I've recorded about the recruitment process, there were some comments under this video regarding the English test and questions mainly about how it is and so on. If I can share how it went for me. So it is difficult, it is tricky. It was divided into different sections. One was reading, one was listening, the other one was grammar, and so on and so on. Just try to find some English tests to practice that may be a little bit similar, but also be prepared that it's gonna take you a while. It's not a 20-minute test. It's a test that you have to spend, I think it took me around hour or hour and a half to complete it all. Most of the questions, at least for me, had more than one answer that seemed correct. It's not about choosing which answer is correct, which isn't. It's about choosing the one that is the best for the certain scenario. In some of the questions you will have time allowed to answer, and in those questions you really have to think fast. But in others you'll have more time to read it carefully and focus, and I do recommend you reading it even twice just to be sure that you didn't miss anything. To be honest guys, I don't think you can fully prepare for the English test. I think it's more about your communication skills with which you can impress the recruiters during the day. And personally, I believe that the English test is just a formality that we just have to fulfill to be accepted for the position. But if you really want to impress recruiters with your communication skills or English language, I would focus more on perfecting your answers. Don't forget that you also have to show some of the personality, so don't study them like a robot. Maybe check some vocabulary or swap some words. So let's say instead of saying, when they ask you what do you like to do in your free time, or what are your hobbies, instead of saying I like swimming, I like painting, I like meeting with my friends, and repeating this like all the time. You can say like something like nothing brings me as much joy as spending time surrounded by my closest and loved ones, and so on and so on. So if you really want to focus on your English skills and perfect them, I would just try to find a substitute for some most popular words and impress recruiters by doing that, rather than studying hard and repeating all the same exams all over again. The best advice that I can give you for your English test is to just take your time, read carefully, and if you have time, read even twice. Try not to stress about it, think about it more as of a formality rather than something that can ruin your chances. Because if you do stress, and if you reading the first exercise or the first question and not understanding half of it, if you at this point already give up, then what can be done? Like, this is all about your attitude and how you attempt it. So even if it's hard, even if it's difficult at the beginning, just soldier through, read the next question. If you don't know the answer, just pick the one that you feel could be correct or is the most sensible or sounds the most right to you. But at the same time, don't get overwhelmed by the difficulty of it. It is difficult, but then it also adjusts to your skills. The test is formed in the way to check the level of your English and see if you can communicate well in case you have a difficult situation, or in case you have a conflict, or in case something happens and you do need to communicate. It's a big part of your job. Basically, our job relies on communication, also teamwork and many other things, but definitely communication is a big part of it. And it doesn't mean that you have to speak like a poet or use fancy words. It just means that with using the most common language we can all communicate with each other, you can send a message to someone and be understood and understand what others say to you. Again, this is just my opinion, but going through it and stressing about it, this is what I think would be the best advice I could get from somebody before attempting it again. It's not all about grammar, it's not all about vocabulary, but it is all about communication and whether you can have a conversation with both passengers and your team workers, if you can find a common language to make this environment safe for everyone and pleasurable to work in. So just keep that in mind and be yourself and prepare for the assessment and try to not stress that much about the English test. I also wanted to answer one more question that was in the comments, or actually two questions that are basically one. Somebody asked me about the age limit, and one more question that is kind of along the lines about if you can start without any customer service experience straight after graduation. It's really hard to say yes or no to that question, but if you do meet the age criteria, which is as of now 21 years old, you can apply to airlines without previous customer service experience. If you do not meet the age criteria, I would advise you to either find a job in the field or to sign up and volunteer somewhere that involves working with people. Not only because it looks good on your CV or during your recruitment, but also it's good for you to check if you actually like working with people. Working as a cabin crew or in general for airlines has a lot of benefits and there's a lot of fun involved, but You are working with people, and working with people can be very hard, guys. You'll be blamed for things that are completely not your fault. You have to approach every situation as if it was, let's say, your family member facing a difficulty. You have to show that you want to help. So whatever the issue is, and however small it sounds to you, you can never really underestimate it, because it can evolve and it can escalate to the point where it is a huge conflict and the customer is upset. So with that in mind, the job can be also very difficult. We were preparing to depart from UK back to Abu Dhabi, and we got to know that the flight that was supposed to depart before ours was cancelled. I don't know the reason why it was cancelled, but automatically many of people who were supposed to be on that flight were transferred to our flight, and there's a lot of people connecting. So now this time in between flights from, let's say, Abu Dhabi to Sydney, which would be, let's say, final destination for one of the guests, is way shorter, and they're worried because they may not make it. Some of the flights already departed or will depart before we make it to Abu Dhabi. And now, this is not your fault, but you are there to explain it. Again, you are not creating a problem, but you do have to solve it. When it comes to age, you do have to be at least 21 years old, but as of now, I believe there is no upper age limit. There is a bottom one, but not the upper one, as per my knowledge. Of course, if you're in your 80s, I don't think anyone would accept you just for your own sake. It is also a physically demanding job, so with that in mind, I don't think you can do it if you're 80. If you take care of yourself, and if you are physically capable of doing the job, then I would just apply and try my chances. Anywhere mid-30s, I think it's still perfectly fine. Above 40, your chances may be a bit slimmer, but it also depends on other factors like previous experience or languages you can speak, and so on and so on. If it's your dream job, then go ahead and apply. I've seen recently on TikTok this cabin crew nana, a lady, I don't wanna guess the age, but definitely more than 40-year-old, who just got her first cabin crew job, and she's loving it and she's living her life. So I would just say follow her footsteps, go ahead and apply.
Well, can you believe it? Crazy Nana's only bloody done it, ain't she? If I can do it, anyone else can do it. Follow your dreams, don't give up. Don't be thinking, oh, I'm too old, I'm too this and that. Look at me, I've got my wings.
You've got your wings.
I've got my certificate, and I did it. And so can you. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
If you do have any questions about the job, about the destination, about life as a cabin crew, or life in Dubai, or literally anything, just write down and I'll try to answer them either in the comment section or in the future videos. I do hope you enjoy spending time with me. And it's so funny because when I started recording, I didn't even know how to talk to the camera or how to address you guys, but at the same time now I feel like with every video there's a few people who keep watching and keep responding, and it just feels like I know who I'm talking to now. I know it may not make so much sense right now, but it does to me, so I'm very, very grateful for that. Anyway, I'm gonna walk and try to find that ruined little castle, and see how it looks, and later on we'll have something to eat, maybe a small bircha, because tomorrow my check-in time is quite late. It's somewhere around 6 p.m. in the afternoon, so we have enough time. We don't have to go to bed too early, so we can enjoy a proper dinner. I had a small reflection. I don't want to scare you also that the job is very difficult because you do work with people, because at the same time, as difficult as it can be, it can also bring you so much pleasure. I will share you the story from my Tel Aviv flight. So it was a turnaround, and Tel Aviv is in general quite a difficult flight. This one was on Airbus, so it's also a smaller aircraft. It's usually quite fully booked. There's an issue from the start because a lot of people are coming with a lot of bags. There's not much space, so you really as a cabin crew have to be very proactive during boarding and cabin preparation. You have to arrange all the bags and make sure everything fits. There's a lot of call bells, a lot of requests for drinks, and so on and so on. It's also one of those flights that is well known from a huge amount of special meals, and we have a special way of delivering them, which is a bit time taking, but the flight itself is short. So you really have to work fast and you have to be efficient. Despite it being not the easiest flight, I had such a nice Tel Aviv flight recently, and it was all because of the guests, and especially one. So somewhere at the end of the flight, he came to me asking where he can leave the feedback, because the crew was so amazing and he flies a lot and this was one of the best flights he had, and that the service is really top. So just because of comments like that, this positive energy that somebody can give you, making you feel like what you do makes sense, and all the effort you put to make this flight memorable, gives you the energy to do your work up to the standard and even above the standard. If somebody tells you that you really did it well, you really exceeded my expectations, you just want to continue exceeding people's expectations, because maybe it's selfish, but it's just a nice feeling to be appreciated. And in those moments you really love your job. You also do love it when you're traveling to all those countries, but I just wanted to give a counter argument to what I said before, because I don't want it to sound that working with people is only hard and will only give you a headache. It will give you also a lot of pleasure and a lot of moments when you just feel accomplished at what you do. Guys, I was talking and I almost missed the castle. We found it. I don't know what it is about those castles, but the ruins actually seems more appealing to me than the fully maintained castles. Like, I find this one way more interesting than the previous one. And I would love to tell you more about this, but it's all in German, but at least you can see how it looked more or less before. So guys, I'm just gonna go and find something to eat and something to drink right now. I'll show you what I find if I find anything, but it is a very relaxing spot. If you have only a few hours around that area, then this park is definitely worth visiting. if you wanna chill, if you wanna have a picnic and walk around the castles. It's just so peaceful and cute. So guys, I already finished my dinner. I had Vietnamese vegan crepe with some sprouts and seitan, and I believe some tofu inside. I don't know, but it was crispy and delicious. Now I'm just gonna go to the hotel. I'm gonna put this video together because I've been talking for a while. So I'm afraid it's gonna be a long one. And then I'm just gonna watch something and relax. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for your support, for being here and following what's going on. If you do have any questions, then please write it in the comments under this video. I will try to answer them, but if I don't, then I will come back with another video. If it's a lot of questions regarding the job, then maybe I'll make the whole video just with your questions about the job. And yeah, I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!